Well, good morning, Glue Troopers. Max and Max's Models here. And I've been having a little email chat recently with a Glue Trooper about marking up model airplanes. He did these beautiful airplanes, the TBD and the SBD from the Battle of Midway for his Viewers Build entry. And I started realizing that one of the problems we face as modelers is trying to figure out how to mark our airplanes or tanks or cars, often based on what we can find online, particularly historical photos. Of course, a lot of them are black and white, but also a lot of them are mislabeled. Some of the documentaries, like John Ford's famous Battle of Midway documentary, actually intersperse a lot of clips of training footage with the actual footage of the attack, and you can get a little confused as to which is which. And in the case of the Battle of Midway, one of the things that makes it a little tricky is that happened right at the transition point when the military was blotting out the red dots and the red and white rudders on airplanes, basically getting completely away from the neutrality markings. Also, they intersperse a fair amount of training footage, so it may be weeks or months older or even not related to the actual combat footage. There's one clip in the Battle of Midway video where this, what I suppose is supposed to be a Japanese Zero, makes a low pass over the camera. An amazingly accommodating camera pass for the middle of combat, but then I realized when I looked at the freeze frame that, hey, those cowling guns stick out of the cowling. The Zero's cowling guns are completely recessed, and it appears to be a cutout on the trailing edge of the elevator for rudder movement, and the Zero's rudder is completely above the elevator. I think that's actually a P-36 Hawk making a low pass just edited in. Now, it's quick. It's only on camera for about a second and a half, and it looks like a Zero, so good job. But I think that's probably not actually a Zero. However, the other footage of what appear to be Zeros rolling in for the attack out of formation, I was thinking, I wonder if that's actually something else also. That's awfully convenient, but I actually put a tri-view diagram up against the airplanes. I think those really are Zeros. And a lot of the battle footage, I'm like, well, unless the Navy's being attacked by its own aircraft, because that's clearly an SBD and that's clearly a TBD. And here are a couple of what appear to be Curtiss SOC biplane observation aircraft that I don't think would be roaming around in the middle of a shooting battle. But man, it looks good on camera. So what I was getting at, though, is just that it's really hard to properly research the paint schemes for aircraft, and it can be quite a trick, and we often get duped and fooled. I've seen model airplanes in the past that I knew were painted from something someone either saw in a movie or saw in a supposed documentary, but I happen to know for one reason or another were actually training footage or something like that. Happens all the time. Happens with everything. Tanks, planes, uniforms. So depending on how particular you are about the particulars, the research can get tricky. Well, that was just the thought I was thinking about this morning. Hopefully I'll get a little work done today. We're going to be out of the house for a while. We're off to see the movies. And we're going to go see Ballerina, because we'll watch anything John Wick. There's your new movie, John Wick versus Godzilla. The two unstoppable forces of the universe. All right, guys, you take care of yourselves. We'll talk to you later. And then, as always, model on.